welcoming our special guest, Governor Tim Walz, the next Vice President of the United States. And we're here today because we need to get out the vote here in Pittsburgh and in every corner of Allegheny County. And y'all may notice, if you're up front, I got a nice accessory on today. I got my I voted sticker because we have an incredible early voting infrastructure set up throughout this county, and I voted earlier today at Soldiers and Sailors. So make some noise if you're going to vote early in this election. Well, I'm fired up and I'm ready to go to get out the vote for Kamala Harris because she is exactly the leader that we need in this moment for so many reasons. In a moment that's marked by relentless attacks on our fundamental freedoms after Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, Vice President Harris has been an unwavering, relentless fighter for reproductive freedom and all of our freedoms. And this is in stark contrast to Donald Trump, who has been a catastrophe for women and actually brags about overturning Roe v. Wade. And we know that a second Trump term will be even more disastrous. Trump's Project 2025 would use the federal government to go after women seeking reproductive health care and the doctors providing it. We know that he has a plan to ban abortion nationwide, including right here in Pennsylvania, with or without Congress. That's his plan. Total control over our bodies and our lives. Are we going to let that happen? Because we're not going back. We must fight for that future together, one where we have access to reproductive health care and contraceptive and the full spectrum of health care. But not only that, we're fighting for a world where we have family-sustaining jobs, where we have safe and affordable housing, where we have clean air and clean water. Is that the future that you want? That's the future that I want to live in. And I know that Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Walz will deliver that future for each and every one of us. But you know, Allegheny County, we're pretty important this election cycle. The path to the White House runs right through Pennsylvania, and a victory in Pennsylvania runs right through Allegheny County. So we cannot grow weary in this battle. Our rights, our bodies, our futures are on the line. Freedom is on the ballot. It's Project 2025, or it's a new way forward for our country. It's really as simple as that, folks. So we need all of you to get out the vote, to call your friends and family members, to knock doors, to make phone calls, to send text messages, because we are working to deliver a victory for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Are you with me? And I know if we all work together, that we are truly going to build an Allegheny County for all, and that means all yin. So let's get to work, folks. 3 more weeks. Let's go get it. Thank you all so much.
administration across this great state of Pennsylvania. Woo! We have a fantastic team who's working day and night to make sure that everyone's vote here counts. Woo! May not know, but in 2020, President Biden only won this state by about 5 votes per precinct. So you can see how close things can get if we don't pay attention to our voters' protection on Election Day. This year could be even closer. That means we cannot leave 1 point on the board. We need to have every single one of you, your family and friends, every single one of their family and friends to make a plan to vote and exercise your right to vote. Woo! And if you're as pumped up as I am about protecting people's rights to vote, you can even sign up with our team who's here today to personally help as a poll observer on Election Day. Woo! Now, as you heard with Sarah saying that Donald Trump and his extreme Project 2025 agenda pose a serious threat to our Constitution, our freedoms, and even our future. But all of us have the power to prevent him from ever seeing inside the White House with your vote. So make a plan now, today. Go down to Soldiers and Sailors, just as Sarah did tomorrow or Thursday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then the other satellite office locations this weekend and next weekend, along with the County Board of Election office. Voting is happening now in Pennsylvania. Woo! You don't have to wait in line on Election Day, which is our last day for voting. There are so many other ways to help cast your ballot early in this election. And so with that, we have Soldiers and Sailors and even a fun Belgian waffle food truck tomorrow to celebrate. And so then that way we can help to vote early. So go to iwillvote.com/PA to make that plan to cast your ballot at your voting site that works best for you. Let's keep knocking on all those doors, help protect the vote, and call around to get Kamala Harris and Democrats up and down the ballot elected this November.
great crowd. My name is Sam Podnar, and I am the co-president of the College Democrats here at Pitt. Yeah, we have some big fans in the crowd over here. And I am so excited to be here today to welcome Governor Walz to Pittsburgh as early voting at Soldiers and Sailors starts today I voted this morning. Little sticker for it, all right? This morning. This election is a fight for the future, okay? I don't have to tell you that. On one side, we've got Donald Trump, who utterly failed as president, who ripped away our rights, who gave massive handouts away to giant corporations, who tried to overturn an election, and so much else. We all know how bad it was. And he hasn't gotten 1 ounce less extreme. He is more vengeful and radical than ever. Trump's Project 2025 would be absolutely devastating for Pennsylvanians, especially young people like me, like us. On the other side, we've got Kamala Harris. Make some noise. Woo! Yeah. Oh yeah. We know who that is. She has spent her career fighting for working people, fighting to protect our freedoms, and fighting to help families get ahead. It is a very, very clear choice. So, as I tell all of my classmates at Pitt, we have to use our votes to make the change we want to see in this world, which means turning out like we never have before to make our voices heard, and that means voting early. Woo. So let's get out there and send Vice President Harris and Governor Walz to the White House.
Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Hello, everyone. I am Will Allen, former safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I am so glad to be here this evening to welcome Governor Walz to the Steel City. We all know what's at stake in this election. And we know we have a very clear choice, right? Vice President Harris and Governor Walz want to help people move ahead, right? Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they want to drag us all backwards. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. They just think they can sail into the White House and implement their extreme Project 2025 plan. We're not going to let that happen, right? They want to abolish the Department of Education at a time when we need more funding for education. They want to cut taxes for all their friends, and that's not right. When hardworking families of Pennsylvania are left to pick up the bill, we're not going to do that. They want to cut Medicare and other social services that we really need, threatening working families and our seniors that are struggling every single day. Trump and Vance, they're not right for Pennsylvania, and they're not right for the United States. We're not going back. So look, here's the deal. We got a very clear game plan. It's simple. We have to vote. We have to get out the vote, right? And we can't just keep this energy here at Acrisure Stadium. We gotta go to our friends, our families, our coworkers. We gotta encourage them to get out, right? So let's leave it all on the field. Let's leave no regrets, because in 3 weeks it's serious. We all got work to do in here. We're all tasked to vote. We're all tasked to support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They care about working people. They care about our seniors. They care about our children. They're fighting for us all. They're going to move our country forward. Now, it is my honor to introduce a true fighter for the people. Please welcome the Governor of Minnesota and our next Vice President of the United States, Tim Walz.
Wow, thank you. Wow. Well, thank you, Pittsburgh. This is something. Give it up one more time for Will Allen. Thank you, Will. All right, give me my moment here. Yesterday, I made my first trip to Lambeau Field. I know. Today, I'm making my first trip into Steeler territory, so thank you. Thank you. So, look, it's a great place to be here, and I have to tell you that you've got some great elected officials here. I want to get a couple out. I got to meet the county executive, Sarah Inamarato. Where's she at? Thank you. You're the best. And I'll tell you what, this is how we're going to win this thing. The Pitt College Dems and Sarah Podner. And our campaign's Deputy Voter Protection Director, which we need, Mary Gibson. Mary, thank you. And this is a place where I have the ability to be able to measure. When it comes to governors, nobody takes a backseat to Josh Shapiro, just so we know. And Pennsylvania, please, for the rest of the country, send Bob Casey back to the United States Senate. Send him back to the United States Senate. Now, Pennsylvania, our states share many things together. These things, sharing, the things we share, I'll tell you though, Super Bowl rings are not one of them. But give me my moment. The Vikings are 5-0. Give me that moment. Give me that moment. But what is true is our two states share a history of being at the center of building this country. The iron mines of northern Minnesota fueled the steel mills of Pennsylvania. It was our states that built the tanks that won World War II. And it was our people who freed the world from Nazi tyranny. And today, we're still building the future. Look, you know it. 3 weeks to the election, 21 days, not like anybody's counting in this room. And our team's running like you know the folks in this building do. Everything really is on the line. Kamala and I are barnstorming the country. I hope you see us on TV, we're on podcasts, we're on radio shows. I am one hit away from being a regular on Fox News. So that's where we're gonna go. So look, running for president or being president takes a hell of a lot of stamina. With that in mind, Donald Trump recently took a little bit of time to take something and do something really important to explain to us what groceries are. And I don't want to get this wrong, so I want to get this straight. I'll save you my Donald Trump impression, but I'll just read you what he said. I have more complaints on grocery. The word grocery, you know, it's sort of a simple word, but it sort of means like everything we eat. The stomach is speaking. It always does. And then there was last night. I don't know if some of you saw this. Donald Trump was doing a town hall. He took a few questions from the audience, totally botched those because they were things that weren't that important to him, like health care and child care, so he wouldn't have any, concept of a plan. But he got a little bit tired. And if you didn't see this, I would not usually encourage you, but we're doing it now. Go watch this guy right now and go watch these rallies or this town hall. He stopped taking questions and stood frozen on stage for 30 minutes while they played his Spotify list to people. Do you think he knows the story behind the YMCA song? Look, it was strange, but if this was your grandfather, you would take the keys away. You would take the keys away. And I tell you this, look, it would be funny if this guy were not running for president of the United States. And it would be funny if you knew that this guy, if he shuts down like he did last night, you know he's doing that when he's sitting in the Situation Room or in briefings that are important. And you don't have to guess. You don't have to guess how he's going to act. He acts the same way. And when it came time to making a decision on January 6th, he froze as his supporters stormed and defiled the Capitol, beat 140 police officers, some of who died, and then he said, those are just really fine people doing things. It was just tourists. You know what he did? He did nothing to stop that. But here's the deal, Pittsburgh. Here's the good news on this. It's important to know what we're up against, but look, I get damn tired of talking about this guy. I get tired of seeing him on TV, and I damn sure am tired of him making decisions for the women in our lives. So if you're sick of this guy, Kamala Harris is offering you a new way forward and a better tomorrow. Kamala and I grew up in middle-class families. She says this. She says things like, who could imagine a middle-class woman from Oakland, California, and you need somebody? They got her. And a kid from Nebraska, middle-class kids running for president and vice president of the United States. Look, when you come from the middle class, I was really grateful. I saw the Wall Street Journal did an analysis of the financial statements of all the candidates, and they said, well, Tim Walz might be the poorest person to ever run for vice president. So all you teachers out there, all you nurses, all you union members, that's us. That's us. I got these steel workers behind me. That's how we work. That's how we work. Look, all we're asking for and all we know when you're middle class is the economy works best when it's fair. We have a statement and a saying in Minnesota that I know you have in Pennsylvania. We all do better when we all do better. It's not that hard. That's why under Kamala's leadership, America is investing again in working people. Today, there are more factories getting built, more American energy being produced than at any time and any day during Donald Trump's presidency. Anytime. And Kamala Harris has been proud to be part of the most pro-labor administration in American history. Unafraid to walk picket lines side by side asking for better pay and better conditions. You know why? Because when workers win, America wins. When the middle class wins, America wins. Now, I get it. Not everybody sees the world the same way. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they have a very different outlook on this. But I want you to be clear, and when you talk to your friends, your neighbors, your damn family members who tell you, oh, I don't really like Donald Trump, but I like his policies, which ones? The ones that screw labor unions, the ones that take women's reproductive rights away, the ones that give tax cuts to billionaires? He talks a big game, but he has been a disaster for middle-class America. A disaster. He is, by the record, he is one of the biggest losers of jobs in American history. Look, I get it. I am preaching to the choir. I understand that. You in Pennsylvania know it. Under Trump, you lost 275,000 jobs in this state alone, as he mismanaged COVID and put people's lives at risk. And you know what he'd do in a second term? He's already told you. He will gut the Affordable Care Act, cut Social Security, and impose the Trump sales tax on everything we buy. Now, he says, oh, don't listen to the economists. Yeah, just like he said during COVID, don't listen to the doctors, inject bleach. I'll listen to the Mayo Clinic, not Donald Trump. I'll listen to the economists in the middle class, not Donald Trump. But someone said, well, you know, Tim, don't you have anything to say about Donald Trump that he did on this? And I will say this. He did keep a promise. He kept one promise. He took his ultra-wealthy folks down to Mar-a-Lago, and in front of a camera, he said, you're rich as hell, and I'm going to give you a tax cut. He followed through. He followed through. He did do that. But look, again, I said this, it is somewhat fun to point out how bad this guy is. But it's somewhat pointless at this point in time because here's the deal. He is not going to be president again, and Kamala Harris is. So that's what's going to happen. So we are not. We have a responsibility to tell all Americans, to tell all those folks out there, and I know it's hard for this group to believe, there are still some undecided voters out there. I'm like, what in the heck are you people doing? But here's the thing, it's their right to wait and see, but we're getting close to early voting starting here. We're voting across the country, so we need to tell you exactly what we're gonna do. So here it is. Kamala Harris has laid out a plan to build an opportunity economy, one that lowers your everyday cost, lifts everyone up, and leaves nobody behind. Here's how it works. Child tax credit. Child's life, first year of life, $6,000 tax cut. You can buy a crib, a car seat, make sure you buy formula, whatever you need. Just get that kid off on a good start. And then, those of you in here know this, when Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have no answer on this, and Donald Trump said, oh, I don't think it's that big a deal. Tell people who are trying to get child care it's not a big deal. It's expensive as hell and it's hard to find. We need to make sure we're investing in it so that folks can live the lives they want to and those kids get a good start. That's what we need to do. Home ownership. Kamala's laid out a plan, 3 million more new homes and down payment assistance. Those of you in here know the down payment is the hardest part of trying to own a home. Those of us like me, I use the GI Bill and the VA home loan. The VA home loan lets you do it without a down payment. She's proposing a $25,000 down payment assistance to get a lot of young folks into new homes, get them built. And then taking on the price gouging. I just came from a farm where we're meeting with folks. Look, a bushel of corn, the farmers get paid $4 for that. It's about $10 for soybeans. Milk's like $20 for 100 weight of milk to buy that. That is the same money they were making when grocery prices were cheaper. Who's taking the money? It's not the farmers. Somebody is price gouging, and we saw it with insulin. Now that insulin's capped at $35 for a vial of insulin. Look, we're free market people, but a vial of insulin costs $5 to make. And we're saying you can charge $35 for it. Before that, $800 for that. And you know what ended up happening? People like Alex Smith in Minnesota, aged out of his parents' insurance, started rationing his insulin and died because he didn't have it. So his mother came to the Capitol and said, I'll be damned if I let another kid die, and we capped insulin at $35. That's how you do it. And look, entrepreneurs in this group, folks that take the risk on a small business, you put yourselves out there, you've got to write checks and you hire people and you're the engine of this economy. It has been for years, we put too much red tape in the way of getting your business started, and the tax credit was capped at $5,000. Kamala has proposed cutting that red tape and a $50,000 tax credit to get your business off the ground. That's the American dream. And coming back to manufacturing, I know, I have been in Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Pennsylvania. We are the heart of manufacturing. We're the place that built this country and built the world. So we have a plan to create an American forward strategy around this, one that empowers American workers, revitalizes manufacturing communities. Look, last week, Vice President Harris talked about something, and those of you in here, if you're young, trust me, when you get to be about 60, you'll start learning every damn thing you can about Medicare. I guarantee you that. Because it's a big damn deal and it costs a lot of money. This week, Kamala Harris put something out for the folks in this room who get this, and all of you know this is, the idea of being able to have health care as a basic human right, and as you're a senior being able to get it, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And what she proposed was having home care, Medicare pay for home care to keep seniors in their homes. It's huge. Even if you're not old enough, if you're like some middle-aged folks here, You're in the sandwich generation. You're like, damn, I'm just worried about paying for childcare in college, but I'm also worried. I got a nearly 90-year-old mom, and as of Sunday, an 18-year-old son. They're on both ends of this. This is policies that make a difference in their lives. And for the older folks in here, me being included in this, can you believe, and she proposed it, we're finally gonna get this done, that Medicare actually covers your damn glasses and hearing aids. And that's it. All right. And I'm sitting here thinking, there's not a damn thing that we've talked about here tonight that shouldn't appeal to those folks who wear the red hats everywhere. And that's what Kamala Harris knows is. She told me when we were up Beaver County, we're getting off a bus, there were our supporters over here, like you guys waving flags, and over here were our non-supporters. They make it easy because they're all dressed the same. We know they are. So I'm like, there. And she turned around to me and she said, never forget, Tim, we work just as hard for this side of the street as this side of the street. That's it. That's what we're going to do. So look, here's for all of you. Here's for your Fox-watching Republican uncle, or in some of our cases, our brothers. Clip this and send it to them. Because think about this. The Republican Party has added much to this country. They have contributed much over the years. That's not who Donald Trump is. Because when did the party of Ronald Reagan decide that it was okay for the government to make personal choices for you? They can't. They never did. You think Ronald Reagan would think it's okay for Donald Trump to make decisions about your health care, about the books you read and things like that? I would sure hope the heck not. But here's the deal. When Vice President Harris and I talk about freedom, we mean the freedom for you to make decisions and not politicians. That's what the Democratic Party stands for. These guys are the party of big government, or I should say small government, small enough to fit in your exam room, small enough to fit in your bedroom, small enough to fit in the library books that they think you want to read. But look, when we talk about freedom, it's not just the song the vice president comes out to, although that's really cool when she does it. But we're talking about the freedom in her proposal that seniors can retire with dignity by strengthening Medicare, strengthening Social Security. Just to be clear, Donald Trump called Social Security a Ponzi scheme. I think he would know about Ponzi schemes, so he got that wrong. And J.D. Vance said it was the only obstacle to fiscal sanity. Oh, you mean it wasn't the tax cuts to billionaires that drove us into $8 trillion in debt? But here's the thing. From Trump's perspective, what the hell would he care about Social Security? He's not waiting for his Social Security check like my mom is. He had $400 million there. When my dad dies, and I'm a teenager, my little brother's in elementary school, my mom's a stay-at-home mom, it was Social Security survivor benefits that kept her going and kept the family going. Look, Pennsylvanians, you are tough people. We're tough out in the plains. And this idea, well, you should just learn to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Fair enough. We just didn't have any boots. Social Security's the boots that lifts them up. That's what we can do. Fair enough. And I am not going to stop talking about this one. The freedom, because I do this both as a parent, as a nearly 20-year teacher in the classroom on our kids. I'm an eternal optimist. I worked in that lunchroom for all those years. But here's the deal. You know what freedom means to us? Freedom means sending your little one off as you dress them up warm and you send them to school. Freedom for them to go into that school and to learn and to be a child and to not be shot dead in their classroom at assault weapons. That's what it means. And look, I know guns. I'm a veteran, I'm a hunter, I'm a gun owner. I know most of these are cosplaying like they're tough or they know guns because they really don't. Because just like Kamala Harris, if you're a gun owner, what you understand is you can support the Second Amendment, which we absolutely do, but understanding our first responsibility is to the safety of our children and our communities. That's our first responsibility. Look, I think this might be true. Well, I better check. I think this is true. I'll be careful on this. This might be the first time in modern American history that both members of the Democratic ticket are gun owners. And the Republican nominee can't pass a background check to own a gun. Those 34 felony convictions kind of get in the way of you purchasing that shotgun. Look, no matter who you are, who you love, the family you want to have, the choices you want to make, your health care, Kamala Harris and I are going to fight for the freedom to live your life the way you choose and no one else. All right, guys, you hear this? Good. I don't want to get you on the polar coaster that's out there because this is not about polls. This is about getting people to vote. This is about getting it done. But I do want to talk about this because we see a little difference here. We got a little work to do over 21 days, so I'm speaking to the men in the group here for just a moment because the women seem to be getting this right and they know the direction we're going. We're going the right way. But look, you got women in your lives, your wives, your daughters, your mothers, your friends. Look, their lives are literally at stake in this election. These are folks because of what Donald Trump did with the Supreme Court and replacing Roe versus Wade. He's bragging about what he did. He is glad that my daughter, your wife, your niece, your sister, your friends, he's glad that they have fewer rights than the generation that came before us. He said he's glad about it. More than 20 states have Trump abortion bans. He called it a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. Right now, as we speak, women are waiting and being denied care in ERs and either having miscarriages in parking lots or going home to try and deal with it. Survivors of rape being forced to carry their pregnancies to term. Now think about that. Hadley Duvall in Kentucky was raped by her stepfather and impregnated at age 12. She would be forced to carry that child to term. And when J.D. Vance was asked about exceptions for rape and incest, he said, 2 wrongs don't make a right. I want to tell you that there is not one goddamn thing right about what happened to Hadley Duvall, and having her carry that child is wrong too, just so you know. And if you think they're done, and I know there's people who do this, look, Hadley Duvall doesn't want to have her name out there, no more than Amber Thurman, who had to leave Georgia to go to North Carolina. These are brave women that said no one else should have to go through this. No one should be put through this. But they're not done. Their Project 2025 is very clear. Pregnancy register, access to contraception being limited, and this is the one that's personal for me and so many of you, access to fertility treatments. If you've been through the hell of fertility treatments, you know what I'm talking about. Waiting for the phone to ring, oh, you're not pregnant. Time after time. I had to recruit my neighbor to give my wife shots in the butt for the Clomid to try and do it. That's the stuff you go through. But you're doing everything because it was our choice to have a family. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let Donald Trump or J.D. Vance tell us we can have our children or not. It can't. So look, you're sending Bob Casey back. We're winning seats in the House. We're holding the Senate. And when Congress passes Roe versus Wade codified into law, Kamala Harris will sign it. Again, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm trying to, look, our recital's in 21 days, people. We're about done practicing here. We got to get this done. And if Donald Trump's reelected, you think what we just talked about, that was just the beginning. Because I believe the people around him, they've learned something. Think about this. He will appoint 2 or 3 more Supreme Court justices. That same institution that gave Donald Trump total immunity over everything he wants to do. They'll be adjudicating the laws in this country when your grandchildren are my age nearly. So start thinking about that, what it would be. I think most of us know. But here's the thing. You or I, we're not going back. And I tell you that because it's going to be even sweeter. When we wake up on November 6th with Madam President, after the day after that, when we have that. We get to decide the future for our kids and grandkids. We get to decide if we're going to tackle things like climate change and have manufacturing back here and move this country in a positive way. So look, 21 days. When Do you ever get a chance over 3 weeks to make a change not for 4 years, but for 40 years? When do you get a chance to protect women's reproductive rights? When do you get a chance to bring back manufacturing and protect schools and take something on like gun violence? This is a privilege to do this. And I got to tell you what, I cannot wait till we don't have to turn on our damn TV and see Donald Trump on there ever again. Never. So look, when we finally had our daughter, we named her and used the most powerful word in the universe, hope. We called her Hope because that's what we meant. And my wife, who is a very practical Midwest Lutheran school teacher, told me this: well, hope is great, but it's not a damn plan. We cannot hope we beat Donald Trump. We cannot hope we restore Roe versus Wade. We cannot hope that unions grow in this country. We have to make a plan to do it, and it starts with voting. Vote. Vote early. If you're voting by mail, get the damn thing in the mail as soon as possible. Follow the instructions carefully because, look, we see the world a lot different than these guys. Their strategy to win elections is to suppress the vote, make it harder to vote, and confuse people. Our way to win elections is have good damn policies and let everybody vote, and they'll vote you in. They'll vote you in. So look, you can vote early in person. I want to get this right for Pennsylvania. You got to make sure you'll visit your local county election office. Several counties, including Allegheny, you can vote early in person at additional satellite locations. Am I right down here? I got my expert here. There we go. They made me get this right. You can register to vote online. In Allegheny, you can register and vote at the same time when you vote until October 21st. Do I have that right? Register on the 21st. I'm checking with my people. Oh, look, if you got any questions, iwillvote.com/PA. iwillvote.com/PA. Got it. Look, you're going to vote. This is a divided country. They're celebrating on the other side. They think they got this one. We don't believe we have this one. We're going to win. We're going to win, but the work's not done. Work's not done. Look, in this building, you don't win the Super Bowl just on that day. You win the Super Bowl months before in the work that you do. So everybody, get out and knock the doors, make the phone calls. One or two votes in Pennsylvania per precinct could swing this election. For the entire country, hell, the rest of the world is watching. Please, America, show some sanity and elect Kamala Harris because they need us. And I know we ask a lot of you, if you got a buck or two, it's KamalaHarris.com to give a buck or two to the campaign. What that means is 50 offices across the state, 300 paid folks, staffers, hundreds of volunteers in every single place, in the reddest places to the bluest places, to make sure if we do the work, Pennsylvania goes blue, we win the White House. All right. And you know why? You came here, put up with the parking, came in here, sat around, talked to people, got fired up about this. You did it because you believe in the promise of America and you love this country. It's that simple. So look, we control our own destiny. We've got 21 days to win this thing. We are in the fight. We win this thing and wake up. We change the direction of this country. And the Vice President was right. When we fight, when we vote, when we fight. Good job. Thank you.